Welcome to
the Neapolitan
Scoop Podcast.
My name is Steph.
My name is Shay.
And my name is Rose. Thank you for tuning in to the Neapolitan Scoop Podcast, where you get your weekly scoop. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, what are you waiting for? Go subscribe right now. Before we jump in, quick note on our content. It is created for adult audiences. So we do advise for viewer and listener discretion. Today's episode is going to be a little different. We have a special guest with us today, Dan Abel Jr. Dan, welcome to the podcast and tell us a little about yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am the Chief Chocolate Officer at Bissinger's Handcrafted Chocolatier. And I literally grew up in the candy industry. My parents opened up their first candy store before I was alive. And so I grew up in every aspect at a very young age working in the chocolate business.
Awesome. I love chocolate.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and hop into the fun part, the questions. So you mentioned you are the Chief Chocolate Officer. So tell us about your journey. How did you become the Chief Chocolate Officer of Bissinger's Handcrafted Chocolatier?
Excellent question. So I'm responsible for printing the business cards at work. And so I chose that title.
Nice.
But no, in all seriousness, we own another candy company called Chocolate Company. And in 2019, we had the opportunity to purchase Bissinger's. And so we have, as each family member kind of took a responsibility for the companies, I kind of moved over more on the Bissinger side to take over that brand operations.
Awesome. So is it similar to like CEO?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, of course.
Funner. Do you get to taste all the chocolate?
Yes.
That's the main question. Like, do you get to eat all this chocolate?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and at the end of the day, like product development, packaging design, catalog design, anything that touches the product, looks like the product, has to do with recipe development, either a part of the creation or a sign off on. So I don't let anything go through the factory that I haven't analyzed, touched, or approved.
Awesome. That's good to know for sure. Okay. So Bissinger's has been around for centuries. So how do you keep the legacy alive while also making it feel modern?
That's a great question. So when we bought the company, we had a great customer base and a great legacy product line. And so the first year we wanted to really not make any changes. We wanted to kind of see what, we had data, but we wanted to see what was working at the retail and catalog and online side and what wasn't working, and then kind of take all that and absorb it ourselves. And we were seeing two major trends. One, there was a trend on one side for kind of an older generation, and then there was a trend for a younger generation. And so we started to try to build on the strengths of the best sellers. But what we found with working with a lot of influencers, and as a new generation is coming in, the products that a 70-year-old would buy before is now what the 30-year-olds want today. So everything changes very rapidly, which is kind of fun and exciting at the same time.
Awesome. Yes, that's definitely true. And then, so what made you personally fall in love with the chocolate business?
So I grew up in it. And of course, being in a family business, my parents, it was never pressure that we needed to go into the family business. It was just something that my siblings and myself loved it so much and kind of decided that was the path we wanted. But growing up in our retail stores and in our candy kitchen, typically chocolate is a part of all great joyous occasions: birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's, Easter, anniversaries. And so as our customers would come in, it's like we were part of those. Like I can tell you how many weddings I helped plan by doing chocolate favors on tables and gifts for, baskets and bags. And so it's just an exciting, positive business. And I just wanted to continue being a part of it.
Absolutely. That's amazing, especially the whole helping with the weddings and the gift baskets. Like you're thinking outside of the box. And I love going to a wedding. They have like the little chocolate favors on the table.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. So we're moving on to another question that I have. So what makes Bissinger's chocolate stand out from everything else on the market?
I think there's probably three really important macros. The first one is that the core recipes that we use are from 1899. That's the last recipe book that the Bissinger's family had written down for and passed on. And 1800 recipes don't use preservatives, only use pure, clean ingredients. And so in the whole world of going natural and better for you, Bissinger's has been doing that since the turn of the century. And so, that's number one. Number two is ingredient sourcing. We use the entire world as our marketplace, and we will not stop anywhere. It doesn't even price, won't get in the way of finding the finest ingredients to craft our confections. And I always tell people, like, a gallon of vanilla that we use is about $360. So,
wow.
From ingredient sourcing, it is just working with best in class ingredients. And then finally, every single piece is handmade and hand decorated. And so when you put that much labor and attention to detail in the product, it doesn't double, it doesn't triple, it doesn't quadruple. It's like 10x the level of inspection that goes into each piece of candy before it gets to the consumer, which I think is a huge difference from some, other type of factory environment where it's more mass marketed and mass produced.
Right. So not only does it taste good, it's good for you.
Hey, I will go with that.
I'll definitely say you make me feel better about what I spend on milk, a gallon of milk.
I know, right? Yeah.
But I'll also say, because I'm not a really big chocolate fan, but when I tasted your chocolate, it was not the typical taste that I would taste in like chocolate. Like, what is a big chocolate brand? I'm not sure, but
like Kit Kat, I guess. I don't know.
We're not going to give brands out here, but
I guess what I'm saying is, for me not to be a big chocolate fan, I literally ate the whole box, and
that's what we love to do.
And it tastes super rich too. Like the chocolate is super rich.
You could tell that you guys use natural ingredients. And I could taste the $360 that you spent on a gallon of vanilla is well worth it.
Well, I agree. Like when I have 3 young kids and we always, bake or make ice cream at home together, and I always have to have our vanilla. And so like my vanilla ice cream at home is amazing because I'm using literally the finest vanilla on the planet.
I agree.
You definitely taste it when you eat it. You can definitely taste the difference.
Yes.
And it's such a, there's so much passion that goes into. I mean, we have some employees that have been there 25 years, and
wow,
they're still hand dipping candy, and now they're teaching a whole new generation of operators and artisans on the craft that they learned, which is just awesome to see from a distance.
That's great. Well, kudos to that, because I'm gonna buy some more. So, can you spill some secrets? Not some, not all, just some. What really goes into making handcrafted chocolate?
I think there's, we have 4 areas total from the candy kitchen experience. So the first part is actually in the kitchen when we make the center. So let's just take a caramel, for example. Those ingredients, the pure cane sugar and heavy cream and butter and milk and vanilla that goes into making the caramel is all hand stirred in antique copper kettles. Some of the copper kettles are 100 years old.
Wow.
And the copper is this wonderful metal because it distributes the heat evenly. So the actual candy stove is at the bottom. So the heat source is at the bottom, where caramels are very sensitive, especially heavy cream. If you've ever worked with cream, you curdle it and burn it. Well, copper evenly distributes the heat throughout the entire kettle, so it's not going to burn. Of course, our candy makers are literally stirring the caramel, with candy, with a big wood spoon, and in the kettles itself. So step one is how we actually blend the ingredients in the cooking process. Then the next phase is the chocolate, and that's kind of step 2 of the operation. That is every single piece is hand decorated or hand striped. And so if some of our truffles, for example, have little drizzles or toppings, or a caramel square would have a V on top of each one. And that's all it's called striping. You tap on the candy and you're actually drawing. It's like you're drawing in cursive letters on top of each one. And then step 3 is all of our boxes are hand packed. So, we've gone through 7 or 8 people already in the factory between the candy making and the hand dipping process. Wow. But when they're hand packing the assortments, if it doesn't look right, they reject it. And so not every piece, even though it's gone through so many people already, not every piece will make it into the box. And then kind of the final step is the logistics of it, where because we have our online business and because we have a retail and everything's in very small batches, we turn the inventory so quickly. So it's not like it's sitting on the shelf in the warehouse for 6 months. It can be there for a week. It can be sometimes, especially at the holidays, it's made that morning and shipped out. So the freshness level is so important because the candy kitchen and the warehouse and the distribution center is all one building. We own the entire operation. So we're very vertically integrated. It's not like we're shipping it off to a 3PL warehouse and it sits for a while.
And then they ship it off to the consumer. Yep.
I can definitely say the shipping was very fast when we got ours. I was super surprised. I didn't expect it to come so fast.
Oh yeah, especially with the weather, which is good because this has been a month of crazy shipping chaos.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. That yeah, because did we receive it when the freeze was going on?
I think so. Around that time.
Oh, I think we've had like 2 warm days, so probably.
And here we are complaining on our 2 cold days.
I know. Yes. Okay. So this question, you might have an answer, you might not. But we did videos, by the way, of us sampling the chocolate, and we each had different methods of sampling. So my question is, do you think there's a wrong way to eat chocolate, such as chewing versus letting it melt, pairing it? Is there a right or wrong way?
So I would say there's definitely not a wrong way. And we do product development all the time. Like, sometimes we're working on something for a year out. So we're always in the test kitchen. I love some, especially if things are, if there's no emails coming in and things are calm and I'm not having to, deal with some chaos, like I'll just go in the test lab and just go work on something. And it's locked. Sometimes I don't let anyone in, and it drives my siblings crazy because I'm like, no, not ready.
That's where the Willy Wonka comes in.
Oh, yes. It is. It's my own world of controlled chaos. But so when and I'll do a sampling in the boardroom and every one of my family members tastes it differently. And I used to be like, no, you can't, but so I don't think there's a wrong way. And chocolate is so special to everyone in its own way that whatever your preference, I think, is the most important. But my preference is to look at it, because chocolate is one of the only foods that every one of your senses can appreciate. So the smell of it, the taste of it, the snap.
Wow.
So you're hearing the snap, you're smelling it, you're seeing how pretty it is. So it, your ears, your eyes, your mouth, it all comes together. So I like to look at it, I like to bite into it, one bite, and then kind of look at the center, taste it, and then I like to finish it off with the second bite. So I usually take every piece as a 2-bite and then give it a little bit of pause between. Now my dad likes to pop it in his mouth, and I'm like, you didn't even try it. Like it's, I spent 4 hours on that, but it's like I said, very, very differences of opinion, but that's how he likes it. So
you gotta savor the flavor.
Yes.
He's like, I'm tasting it in my mouth.
Yeah.
All at
Before
once.
you know it, it's over. The experience is done.
It's definitely an experience, I think, when we were trying it. It was definitely an experience for all of us. Running a luxury chocolate brand sounds like a dream job, but what would you say is the hardest part that people don't know about?
I think that, like when we're out in our retail boutiques, for example, one of our flagship locations is in a very luxury mall. We're 100 feet away from a Neiman Marcus. It's, everything is, we have gold, beautiful tote shopping bags, and it's all about that customer experience, which is so nice. And it's just, you can hear kind of like classical music playing in the background. It's just a perfect experience. And then that I wish that was everything. The whole experience. On the flip side, the manufacturing of luxury chocolate still requires working with an engineering team, working with a human resources department, working with, a quality and food safety department. Everything has to be registered with the FDA. Everything has to be in compliance with all the new food safety codes. We get audited annually for food safety. And so we are at a food safety level of SQF, which is a third-party auditing company which is the highest standard in the world, which is the same as $1 billion company would be. So we have to play in a very high level macro environment for manufacturing, even though they're, consumed one bite at a time in a luxury boutique. And so that part makes it challenging. Now, I grew up literally from 10 years old working in a manufacturing environment. I think manufacturing is the most amazing. I love manufacturing. And it's not just chocolate. Like I'll go see how Kleenex are made. In a factory, I just love all manufacturing. So it doesn't stress me out as much as it sounds. But sometimes we have engineers on the phone from Switzerland dialing into our onboard computer systems that run our molding line. It's just like, oh, this really takes the wind out of your sail. I'm trying to design a catalog here, and we've got a line down, and that line costs $1,000 a minute to runtime type thing. So there is a very industrial element in the background that it's not always a that wonderful classical music playing in the background.
Yeah, having that nice taste of chocolate and champagne.
Yes.
No, I know you talked about it earlier, but how do you keep with the changing consumer trends while staying true to the brand's roots?
So I never, ever usually look at trends.
Okay.
And I always focus on so we call it the Bissinger's data. And so I personally read every single review that comes in on the website. I get in at 6 a.m. and I have between 6 and 7 o'clock. No one comes in my office, and I go through reviews. I go through questions. You can text. We have a text marketing, but you can text questions. I do that. I don't answer them, but I have, our customer care team handles that. But I go through we get a customer complaint log. I look through and then on top of that, I look through trend analysis of what's selling, what's not. We take the catalog, for example, and then put units sold post season. We do 7 editions every year. And then we put dollars in units on top of every one. And then we calculate how many dollars in revenue per page. And so we take it, make it very analytical. And I use that data. And then I help out at the holidays in our warehouse shipping orders, because sometimes we have between 3,000 and 5,000 orders a day.
Gosh.
And our head of direct to consumer, Tori, he's awesome. And he's just we always just like to go help him out at the holidays. But as I'm sitting there in the warehouse pulling orders and helping with them, I see trends like, oh, well, I just shipped 150 boxes of apricots in the last 45 minutes. You just see the patterns.
Right.
And I like to compile that. And I've learned more by listening to the customer between the reviews, their comments, how they order, what their cadence of ordering is, when a new product works, when it doesn't work, why did it work? And then just try to digest all of that. And then that helps us make the next product.
Nice.
And then sometimes you get lucky and that's the new trend of the year. But for Bissinger's, we always play the long game, 350 legacy. We're not into, now I will say we're coming out with a pistachio product in a month, which is like the Dubai pistachio TikTok phase is the biggest ever. So that's like a happy accident because we had worked on this product last year before the Dubai chocolate phase came out. But we decided this is the right time to launch it. So sometimes those things do happen.
Yeah. It's definitely delicious. I want to say the pistachio chocolate is definitely good. Hey, so what would you say is one lesson in business that you wish you knew earlier on or starting off in the business?
I think that's a great question. I wish I had one answer. I feel like I have a lot. I feel like the best education I ever got was being in the business. And the chocolate business is so unique and hands-on, but being on the production floor, being in our warehouse, being in our stores teaches me more about the business than I can ever imagine. And when you ignore one part of the business, it usually suffers. And so I think that the best advice I always give people is live in your business, not outside your business. Now, and not every business needs to be hands-on. But I think the closer you can get to your customer, the closer you can get, direct with the relationships your customer, and the closer you listen. I don't think we looked at the data as much as we back in the day. I think we just kind of created things that we thought would be great and guessed. But now we really try to take all this data and listen to our customer as much as we can.
Yeah, that's definitely important as a business owner. I've ventured into little things as well, and I'm just like that. I think the main thing that I appreciate a lot of the times is when the business owners are hands-on and are kind of like the forefront of their business. It shows that you're very involved and that your business matters to you.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess as a consumer, you appreciate that personal touch that you're giving by knowing that you're out there, by knowing that it's hand done and it's that you're there and within the product. So it's like this product that I'm tasting has already been seen and it's been produced and everybody sees what's happening and it's quality control. So I think it definitely makes us as a consumer feel appreciated.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
More relatable.
Yep. All right. So, if you could only eat one type of chocolate for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh. Ooh. I always default to a dark chocolate vanilla caramel. For a lot of reasons, Bissinger's caramel it literally is a 300-year-old recipe. And it's so different than most other caramels on the market. It has so much dairy in it. There's so much heavy cream and butter in it. And it's a really golden brown. That wonderful vanilla really comes out at the end. And so I just think it's like the most pure Bissinger's classic item. But that would be tough to just restrict myself to.
I think I'm more so of like a milk chocolate girl. So if it was up to me, I'd be milk chocolate for the rest of my life. I don't, it doesn't matter. I just milk chocolate. Milk chocolate.
Honestly, sometimes a piece of solid milk chocolate does exactly what I need.
Exactly.
It's healing. It knows.
Yeah.
It knows
exactly.
It
hits the right spot.
Yeah. It definitely releases those dopamines we need.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Okay, so what's a chocolate myth or misconception that people always get wrong?
I think people. I hear like, oh, I can't have chocolate past dinner because there's caffeine and it keeps me up. And I think so. I think the misconception, a lot of things, is that people think that chocolate does things that it doesn't. So there's no caffeine in chocolate. It has less.
Yeah.
I was about to say there's caffeine in chocolate.
Like I used to hear that for years. Like, oh, chocolate keeps me up. And I think what it is, some people just can't have sugar past 5 o'clock. So there's definitely sugar in chocolate. But I always hear things like that, or like I'm trying to think of another strange one. And
or like if you eat the sweets before, like the chocolate before, it'll ruin your dinner. I feel like if you're hungry, you still don't eat.
I think it helps you. I think chocolate complements anything.
I agree. And I mean, people drink before going to sleep and people drink before eating, and that doesn't ruin their appetite, does it?
Yeah, exactly right.
So, what's next, Bissingers? Any exciting products or collaborations? I know you just said the pistachio was coming out and your Easter batches are coming out. Anything else we have to look forward to?
There is. This is going to be a huge year. So we're working on a whole new packaging design for our classic gift boxes right now. And, that's something we've been working on for, 6 months or a year. And we just keep adding to it. So that's a big change coming out. We're really, collaborations are one of my favorite things. And so we have, so Bissinger's is doing a massive expansion right now. We're doubling the size of our manufacturing facility. We're very deep into construction. And this summer, when the construction is complete, we're going to be opening a whole coffee shop cafe. And glad you're sitting down. Speakeasy cocktail bar.
Wow, we gotta travel. We gotta go
Yeah.
see
We
it.
do.
So because of our whole entree into alcohol, which we've been doing a lot of R&D on to make the perfect chocolate infused craft cocktails, we have really started working with a lot of spirits companies. And so we have a lot of collaborations coming down the pipeline with spirits. One of them is with Fabrizia, which is this incredible Italian limoncello brand. And so we launched this liqueur collection. We did it late December. So it was kind of something we did late December. It didn't even make the catalog. We just put it in store and it sold out so quickly. So now we're really bringing that up to start selling it online and in some of our wholesale accounts. And then there's this incredible small batch craft distillery down in Kentucky, Castle and Key. And the building looks like a castle. It's stone. It's beautiful. Well, they have a bourbon, a gin, and a vodka. So we just
our
launched,
language.
I know. So the gin, we just launched a gin and tonic bar with them. So it has their gin in it for the gin and tonic. That just hit the market as a collaboration with Bissinger's and Castle and Key. And then in the next 60 days, we're going to launch with their vodka an espresso martini truffle.
Wow.
And then for their bourbon, a dark chocolate bourbon caramel.
Why did I get chills just now? That's crazy.
We've kind of been approached by a few more spirits companies, and so we're having to kind of go vet it, and we want to make sure that each collaboration we launch gets the appropriate runway to really be successful. So we're lining up kind of like the 2026 brands now, and it's so much fun. Collaborations are so much fun, and we just love it. And we just, you make new friends and you learn some new things. And so we absolutely want to continue that path.
Awesome.
That is great to hear. I would definitely be booking my flight.
Definitely forward to that speakeasy.
Yes, maybe we can give you a Neapolitan Scoop drink, something you can create.
Oh, that'd be so much fun. Absolutely.
Yes, it's awesome. I am excited. And congratulations on all of those endeavors. That's great. So, where can our listeners get their hands on some Bissinger's chocolates and follow your journey?
Excellent question. I always say Bissingers.com is open 24 hours a day. And then there's a ton of opportunities in the St. Louis market, from our own boutiques in St. Louis to some specialty grocery stores and accounts. But if you're out of the St. Louis market, nationwide, we are in all of the Barnes and Nobles. And so, there's over 650 locations. So it's fairly easy to find a Barnes and Noble these days. We're also in Paper Source. We're in all the Dillards. Seasonally, we're in Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's. And then there's about 1,000 independent specialty stores and boutiques nationwide that are carrying the Bissinger's products, such as Hallmark stores and grocery stores. So we're really starting to expand out, not only through our online business, but through really great wholesale customers as well.
That's awesome. There's like a Barnes and Noble's, like probably 20 minutes, not 20, maybe a little less than 20. It's out of a mall that I frequently go to. So I'm definitely going to go up in there and
it's a full rack. So it's not just a few products on the shelf. It's a full Bissinger's rack. Usually there's about 25 different products at a time. And then what's so great with our distribution model, we're replenishing them all the time. So it's not like they just buy one time a year. They're just constantly refilling. So keeping the product really fresh. And, they have the Starbucks cafes connected there. So you can get, some chocolate, a cup of coffee, and then of course your favorite book and magazine. Like, their stores are amazing. They just keep expanding more merchandise.
I agree. First and foremost, thank you, Dan, for joining us, aka the Willy Wonka of the Midwest. Thank you for giving us the background on Bissinger's and giving us the upcoming updates that maybe not a lot of people know about, but they will now.
The inside scoop.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So, to our listeners, please, if you want, you can go into our bio to check out their link to get to their chocolate and order some chocolate. Y'all will definitely be on my gift list. People will definitely be getting these for Christmas and other events
Birthdays.
that I host.
For me, with some bourbon.
Yes. Oh, and for sure, once the speakeasy comes about, yeah. I just might move out there for like 2 weeks or something. But yes. So we want to thank you for tuning into our podcast. Again, if you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel, like, and comment. We love feedback. While you're at it, follow us on all streaming platforms. Wherever you stream your podcast or your music, you can find us there. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. Also, if you have a topic that you would like for us to discuss, or if you'd like to be a guest on our podcast, feel free to email us. Again, thank you and see you next week for your weekly scoop serving.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you
Dan.
so much,
Bye.
Dan.
Thank you so
You have a
much.
good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.